What is up, everyone? Raph here from BNC Camera. When your phone's photo album isn't packed with snapshots of food, your pet, or your child, we're willing to bet it's showing off anywhere between 8 to around 3,600 selfies, with the perfect one at the very bottom. That's because this do-it-your-selfie activity is more complicated than it sounds. The reason behind the selfie struggle can be chalked up to the fact that no matter how informally you're using your camera, it's still a camera, and for the best results, you must know a thing or two about photography. Here are some tips for taking the best selfie so that the world can see the best of you, or at least the best of you from a slightly higher angle. Alrighty, tip number 1, light, and more light. Lighting is the key to unlocking all photography, but it's crucial when talking about smartphones. This is because your phone's camera picture taking tech is only so sophisticated. Even today, most smartphones still struggle in low light situations. Ever notice when you're outside in the sunshine, you just can't take a bad selfie? While we're sure you're looking very fire that day, it's actually the giant fireball in the sky doing all the legwork. So just keep that in mind. Taking a selfie at night, in a dark room, under a cabana umbrella, bring a light, turn on a light, or find a light. Tip number 2 is understanding what we do in the shadows. Closely related to the lighting tip is avoid shadows at all costs. As mentioned already, darkness is the death of selfies, but also the human face looks its most attractive when evenly lit. If you have a dark shadow below your eyes and lips, you tend to look more menacing, which might be what you want when you're auditioning for Law & Order, but not when you want your freshest face forward on TikTok. If you would love to get creative and take selfies at night, we already have you covered with a video discussing that topic, so definitely give that one a spin. Tip number 3, be careful with that flash. Your camera comes with a flash, obviously, to brighten things up. Know when to use it. It can be a bit tricky because moments, primarily when held at close distances, tend to wash out people's faces. Flashes are best used when you're shooting at night, need some fill light when there's bright light sources behind you, or when you could set the camera far enough away that you don't end up looking like a ghost with just eyebrows and nostrils. Tip number 4, there's that smile. One of the most important things about a selfie is that you're projecting to the world that you're a happy person in this fantabulous life. So if you decide against going with the Sylvia Plath vibe, smile with your whole heart, and if you can't do that, at least do it with your entire mouth. We want to feel the joy you're feeling. In other words, just don't be afraid to be authentic. Tip number 5, snap away, young narcissists. Take as many selfies as humanely possible. You're not using film, and you have a 256GB storage bank inside your pocket computer, so go nuts. Combining the right angle, the right look, the authentic presence, and the perfect smile could take more than one try. So take a boatload of pics and see which one stands out. If it works for you, it has a better chance of working on that person you're low-key flirting with on Instagram. Tip number 6, it's all about the angles. Now, don't ask us why, but people look their best when you can barely see them. It feels like it belongs with that age-old adage that black clothing is slimming and the camera adds about 10 pounds. If you photograph yourself from a higher angle and tilt it to a tight 45-degree angle, you're bound to look hot and, frankly, more emotionally intelligent. If you don't believe me, take a picture of yourself from a low angle. Feel free to pause the video to try. Don't worry, we won't be going anywhere. Finally back? Great. Let's go ahead and talk about tip number 7, use filters, or don't. Now, nothing says I'm a real person like eliminating all human blemishes with a computer-generated filter that makes your eyes the shape of hearts. All jokes aside, filters are a fun way of enhancing aspects of your selfie and giving them a bit of extra flavor. Also, keep in mind that the new blossoming trend is the raw selfie. People really want to see the natural you as well too. Speaking of you, tip number 8, just be yourself. After you've taped your phone to the ceiling for the best high-angle shot and you've plastered on the perfect filter, take the picture and let it speak for itself. Many of these camera apps give you additional editing options, but you don't want your image to look fake or altered. Most of the creative characteristics built into the filters are just enough. Tip number 9, what's that? Behind you! Make sure your background is either as charming as your beautiful face or bland enough that it doesn't draw attention away from you. Let me tell you, many selfies have been ruined by an overlooked toilet in the background. Unless, of course, you're going for that kind of look. And lastly, tip number 10, keeping it short and sweet, Try not to overthink it. That's it. Just have fun and don't overthink it. And that is a wrap on our tips on how to take good selfies. There's a science and art form to everything, selfies especially included. Don't expect to master it after only a few shots. And if you've been on the fence with taking any, you'll never know or improve on things unless you give it a try. So show up and show everyone how you're looking. Thank you so much for checking this one out. As your standard spiel, if you liked the video, be sure to show us by hitting the like button and also by possibly subscribing as well too. If you've got some selfie secrets of your own that you'd like to share, be sure to get that party started in the comments section down below. Hey, once more, you already know who it is. This is your smooth narrator, Raph, and we'll catch you on the next one.